What do you get if you combine the first 3 letters of biology and a homophone of the word ware? BioWare. Over the years, BioWare has created a name for itself by making some of the most legendary games on the planet. Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Star Wars KOTOR, and so many more. But these are all older games. Let's face it, nothing BioWare has made recently has been able to even scratch the surface of what they easily pulled off years ago. While the reason for this is another video on its own, which I made a video on it if you're interested. We're here to talk about something even bigger. I mean, like, huge. Buckle up, dear Homo sapien, cause this just got real. Why Dragon Age Dreadwolf could get BioWare shut down. Don't forget to subscribe. In the early 2000s, most of the games being made were very straightforward and direct. You play as Master Chief, and you go along with our story, and roughly the way we want, and, we'll give you a little freedom, but you'd follow our story. You play as Gordon Freeman, and you follow our story, and roughly the way we want. BioWare set out to do something different. They decided to make a game where you could make the story. Your actions would affect the world, and you get to decide what you want to do. It was a fantastic idea, and so Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was born. KOTOR did very well. The world was intrigued by the idea of a player-made story. BioWare used the same idea with Mass Effect, and the result is probably one of the best games on the planet. Besides Elden Ring, of course. I mean, man, it's been a while since I did that. People just couldn't get enough of this kind of game. Not only did this work out very well for Mass Effect and KOTOR, but this is really where the legend of BioWare began. Years went by and most of these games got sequels and spin-offs. Now, while some of those sequels were just as good or even better than the original game, something happened not too long ago. I believe the first sign of this change appeared with the release of Mass Effect Andromeda, easily one of BioWare's most hyped up games ever. When it finally was released, it wasn't all that. Not only was the quality of the game genuinely bad, but the story was lacking and the characters were just stupid. Anthem was up next. BioWare also put a decent amount of attention into advertising this, but all for naught. Anthem sucks too. And from there on, their games just haven't been doing so well. It turns out BioWare wasn't the only game-making company that went through this. Pretty much every single AAA company out there went through the exact same thing at roughly the exact same time. Overwatch was an awesome game that did very well when it came out. Blizzard changed some things and created Overwatch 2, one of the most controversial games on the planet. I mean, it's like every other day people are mass complaining about something new. There are many other examples of this, but that's not why we're here today. I've already got a video explaining why the gaming industry took a swan dive off a cliff. Yes, I know, I'm awesome. Back on track. To be a little more specific, the Dragon Age series itself has suffered a lot over the years too. On top of the fact that the series just doesn't seem to have like a goal or destination as a story or world, but the latest game, Dragon Age Inquisition, was by far their weakest link. Not only was the combat boring, unengaging, and literally a pain, but the story was weak and left too many questions unanswered. Now there's one more ingredient that goes in this recipe of destruction that I've kept a secret. Until now. Oh no. Hello? Hello there, buddy. You gotta be kidding me, bro. Get out of here, I'm filming. I know, that's why I'm here, interrupting you halfway through the video. You sucker. Well, what do you want to talk about? Not much, man. I was just want to mess things up a little bit. I'll probably be going now. Got you. Domain expansion. Oh, that's just great. Malevolent Shrine. Why? Just subscribe. On top of BioWare just not making good games for the last several years, and the fact that Dragon Age doesn't have a clear goal as a story, let's take a second and look around. Tango Gameworks, the small group behind the smashing hit of a game Hi-Fi Rush, was recently shut down. Why, you might be asking? We don't know for sure. Phil Spencer, the CEO of Microsoft, decided that the company needed to go and closed it down. This was a surprise because Tango had been doing really well. Phil said that they just weren't getting rewards and profit. This just simply wasn't true. For a group as small as Tango, the amount of money, players, reward, and pretty much everything that they got was unbelievable. So that's just not true. But there's a bigger point here. While Tango was definitely one of the most shocking closes, recently we've seen dozens upon dozens of companies being shut down too. This is interesting. Personally, the shutting down of Tango means a lot to me because they developed Ghostwire Tokyo, a game that I played with my little siblings and had a great time playing. We played it early in the morning before anybody else in the house was awake. The memories we all made will last forever. I can't believe they're gone. This same situation is happening for hundreds of thousands of other people around the world right now with all the companies being closed down. And we still aren't completely sure why this is happening. BioWare needs to make this game work, otherwise they could very possibly find themselves on the hit list. Bro, you're crazy. There's no way they would shut down BioWare. It's too big. I wouldn't be quick to rule them out. We just don't know what to expect, and I believe BioWare knows this too. One of the most shocking bits of news related to Dragon Age Dreadwolf is that they brought back the original Mass Effect team to work on this game. Not only that, but Mark Dara, the executive producer of the original Dragon Age franchise, is also back to it. It looks as if BioWare is also trying to fight against the possibility of getting canned. Now, this looks great, but I just can't keep holding the bad news from you guys. It's a game being made in the year 2024. It's gonna have a terrible time in the production phase, and here's why. BioWare also decided to lay off their entire QA team, or quality testers. This is an interesting move that's always worked with all the other AAA companies who try this. Ha ha ha. BioWare, besides the 13 QA guys, got rid of 50 other employees. Wonderful, but that's not it. 7 of those employees are now starting a lawsuit against BioWare. That's still not it. Dragon Age Dreadwolf has been delayed multiple times, and because of this, even Mass Effect 5 has been pushed back a bit too. And we all know how well delays, reschedules, and all the other fun stuff work with the game. Tee-hee. It seems as if everything is stacked against Dreadwolf. Will it pull through? Will it hold on, I'm so sorry. I knew I was forgetting something. As if Dragon Age 4's and BioWare's life wasn't completely at stake enough, fans are already saying that we don't even need a Dragon Age Dreadwolf because we have Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate already did and fulfilled everything we want and need in a fantasy RPG. I couldn't say enough in my video on it, but it easily changed the world and set a new standard going forward. A standard that, let's face it, hasn't been met by the most obliged AAA companies out there for the last several years. The same companies that just don't have an excuse for not nailing this standard every single time. What a mess. Simply put, not only is BioWare already at risk of being closed down simply due to the fact that everyone else is getting shut down for mysterious reasons, but they've already delayed the game several times, laid off their entire QA team, fired another 50 employees, 7 of those employees are now starting a lawsuit against BioWare, and to make matters worse, tons of the players that this game is made for are already saying that they don't even want the game because they have Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know if you see it, but the road to at least Dragon Age Dreadwolf flopping is paved with gold. I do believe that there is still a chance for BioWare to turn this mess around, but we've all seen this exact situation play out many times before, and it's never ended well. BioWare just hasn't made anything good in years. They've had to delay the game, they're firing all their staff, and the player base doesn't even want the game. Now, am I saying that nobody on this planet is excited for Dragon Age Dreadwolf? Nope, but Baldur's Gate 3 did everything we've been looking for. Well, what do you think? I want this game to make it and bring back BioWare in a huge way, but only if they earn it, and lately, they just haven't been. We've all seen our favorite universes and stories massacred. Mass Effect Andromeda doesn't deserve the first 2 words in its title. Dragon Age Inquisition isn't a real game, I'm convinced. Anthem is poo-poo fire, but there's still a chance. There are people who are excited to see where they take this game, true fans of the Dragon Age world. But if BioWare doesn't get themselves together and do something big, there is a decent chance we could be saying goodbye to them entirely. And again, part of me still agrees that BioWare is too big, it's too popular to ever be shut down, but we just simply don't know why these companies are being shut down in the first place. Hi-Fi Rush won tons of awards, especially considering the fact that Tango was a really small group, and that wasn't enough to save them. So we don't know exactly what's going on here. So BioWare is still a target, but what do you think? What's going on here? Do you think Dreadwolf will suck or succeed? Tell me down below. I love you guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and remember, life is short. Play great games. If you were even around for the early 2000s, then you'll probably be somewhat familiar with Bungie's timeless masterpiece, investigating the mysterious Halo as a Master Chief, first picking up a story that would stay with you for the rest of your life. Now that might sound amazing, but playing video games these days is far from. For instance, taking a nice evening stroll in Night City